What are things that help you get past your husband sharing his body with another woman? I'll share the experience or the circumstances for this woman. Her husband does not think he needs recovery. Her husband usually treats her pretty well. They are married and sleep in the same room. It's been 3 to 6 months since their last discovery or disclosure. The first realization there were sexual secrets was between 7 and 12 months ago, and they've been married more than 30 years. Let me just state, this is a very long-term marriage. This is a husband who is not acknowledging that he has a serious problem. These two factors alone make this even more difficult and traumatic. Also, the fact that she's had a discovery in the last 3 to 6 months that compounds how much of a crisis this throws your brain into, because it's not been that long. I know it probably feels like it's been an eternity that you've known and that your life has never been the same. And yet it sounds like you had a discovery sometime between 7 and 12 months ago, and again between 3 and 6 months ago. That's a lot of trauma and crisis in a year in the backdrop of a 30-year marriage. So what you're asking me of what can you do to get past your husband sharing his body with another woman? I just want you to know that it is normal to not be able to be over that, or to not have been able to process it and let it go in the backdrop of your situation. Heck, even if you were married 5 years, the recentness of a discovery or disclosure in the last 3 to 6 months makes this extremely early trauma. Your brain is probably still trying to process it, and processing your entire 30-year history with this man, and what of it is true and what of it was not. And so just know that it takes a long time for the brain to resequence your narrative. Okay, this is deep in the part of this part of the brain called the hippocampus, where emotionally charged memories and the narrative of your life and what you think is true and not true are sequenced. And so if you've had multiple discoveries, which it sounds like you have, that creates more confusion and conflict in your brain of wanting to know what is the truth and how far back does this reach and who is my husband really. And these are identity crises on the level of your primary person. Who are they? Who can I really trust them or not? You can't just get past that. What I'm wondering is if you've had a full therapeutic disclosure, or if your brain is still alerting you because it's wondering if you know all the truth. And if that's the case, you may need to ask for a full therapeutic disclosure and get all the truth on the table confirmed with a polygraph before your brain can even start to stop the intrusive thinking and the pain and the trauma, okay? Because your brain probably does not realize if it's safe or not, if it knows all the truth or not. The fact that your husband's not admitting that he has a problem means your brain is going to be on high alert, because he's not recognizing and working on the root issues that got him to the place of being unfaithful in the first place. This is serious, right? He's broken your covenant, his vows to you. And so the reason it's not easy to get over that is because this is a serious mortal wound. In Jeremiah, it talks about when the priests were trying to cover up like major problems, right? Which we often try to do in Christian circles too. We try to cover up these big problems, what Jeremiah calls mortal wounds. They're treating the mortal wounds of my people as though they were superficial problems. They are saying peace, peace when there is no peace. And so if you have other people around you, maybe your husband, maybe church members that are like, just forgive him, just move on. You don't, let it go, all these things. You have this one message because they're treating your deep mortal wound like it's superficial, and it's not superficial. It's very, very deep. This is a huge breach in the covenant. And if he does not do his work to deal with the root issues behind why he did this in the first place, your brain is alerting you, because your brain deep inside knows that this is not an isolated thing, and it is not safe to trust somebody who doesn't take personal responsibility for what they've done. But the thing you can do to get past it is to stick with your process in Women in the Battle. Learn how to create a sense of safety in your own body and nervous system so that you can think more clearly. Listen to other women's experience, because it'll make you realize that while other people around you may be trying to minimize your pain is serious, it is valid, it matters. And God is actually using your brain to try to help you stay safe. Those intrusive thoughts, those are trauma symptoms. You cannot just get over it. You can, however, learn to use tools and strategies that will teach you in Women in the Battle so that you can set aside the intrusive thoughts so that you can sleep, so that you can function. But the problem is, if you always want to set it aside and just get over it entirely when you're still not safe, that's not going to work, because your brain is designed to keep you safe. We will teach you some skills so that you can function. And if you keep doing your work and staying engaged with your healing process, I do believe you'll get to the point where you can sleep and eat and function again, using things like boundaries to start to reestablish a sense of safety in your external situation, not just inside your body and in your brain, but in your situation.